Hallgrímskirkja, the soul of Iceland's skyline. Welcome to Hallgrímskirkja. High above Reykjavík, above the sea breeze and skyline, stands a structure like no other. It's not a castle, not a volcano, but it could be mistaken for either. Hallgrímskirkja Church pierces the Icelandic sky with solemn grace. And today, in this video, we will uncover its story. The story of Iceland, its faith, its resilience, and its sky-reaching spirit. We will explore its conception, its construction, and its cultural impact. We'll meet the minds that imagined it and the hands that built it. We'll examine the poetry that inspired its name, the architecture that made it a modern icon, and the music that fills its soul. Whether you're watching from a quiet room, a bustling cafe, or your own travels, welcome. Let this be more than a documentary. Let it be a pilgrimage. Iceland's spiritual landscape. To understand Hallgrímskirkja, we must first understand Iceland's soul. A land born of fire and ice, shaped by saga and silence, Iceland's spiritual journey began long before the first stone of the church was laid. In the age of the Norse settlers, belief in the old gods reigned. Thor's hammer was carved into amulets. Odin's wisdom was revered. Yet, Iceland chose a peaceful path to Christianity in the year 1000 AD. This wasn't a forced conversion. It was a conscious decision made at the Althing, Iceland's national assembly, after intense debate and careful compromise. The Christian faith slowly took root in the lava fields and fjords. Churches appeared on isolated farms and coastal towns. Faith fused with folklore. The sagas began to blend with scripture. By the time Hallgrímskirkja was conceived, the church was not just a religious space in Iceland, it was a cultural cornerstone. The architect, Guðjón Samúelsson. Every great building begins in the mind of a dreamer. Guðjón Samúelsson, Iceland's first official state architect, was that visionary. Appointed in 1920, he designed many of Iceland's most iconic buildings, but Hallgrímskirkja was his magnum opus. Educated in Copenhagen, Samúelsson returned to Iceland with a desire to break away from imported architectural styles. He believed Icelandic buildings should reflect Icelandic nature. For Hallgrímskirkja, he looked to basalt columns formed by volcanic eruptions, waterfalls crashing down fjords, and the glacier-carved valleys of the highlands. His first sketches in 1937 were controversial, too modern, too stark. But they grew in the imagination of the nation. He didn't live to see the final structure, but his vision guided every detail. Hallgrímskirkja became a posthumous tribute to his belief that architecture should grow from the earth it stands on. The Construction Chronicle. Building Hallgrímskirkja was a test of patience and perseverance. Construction began in 1945, just as the world emerged from war. Materials were scarce. Skilled labor was limited. The process was slow, yet relentless. The tower, its most visible element, was prioritized, completed in the 1970s. The nave and transepts followed, with final touches added by 1986. Throughout, changes were made to Samúelsson's original designs, always with respect to his core vision. Public opinion shifted over time. Early on, many criticized the design as bizarre. But slowly, it won hearts. As scaffolding fell and the structure revealed itself, people began to see not just concrete, but character. It was not merely a church. It was a statement: Iceland builds not for conformity, but for eternity. Architecture of the divine. Hallgrímskirkja is often compared to a rocket ship, a glacier, a lava fall. That is the brilliance of its design. It evokes Iceland's natural phenomena in abstract, geometric form. The facade mimics the vertical basalt columns found in places like Svartafoss waterfall. The gradual rise of these columns towards the central tower suggests a natural growth, as if the earth itself reached upward to create the church. The tower, nearly 75 meters tall, became the highest point in Reykjavík and a literal beacon. Inside, the minimalist interior amplifies the sense of sacredness. There are no ornate decorations or stained glass. Instead, light floods through high windows. The pale concrete surfaces reflect and soften that light, creating a quiet space for meditation. This is not a church that overwhelms. It humbles. Hallgrímur Pétursson, the namesake. Hallgrímskirkja takes its name from one of Iceland's most beloved poets and clergymen, Hallgrímur Pétursson. Born in 1614, Hallgrímur was educated in Copenhagen but returned to Iceland to serve the people with both sermon and song. He is most famous for his passion hymns, Samúelsson, a series of 50 poetic meditations on the suffering of Christ. These hymns are still read and sung in Icelandic homes and churches during the Lenten season. They are lyrical, profound, and deeply personal. Naming the church after Hallgrímur was not a random choice. It was a tribute to the power of faith expressed through art. His spirit lives in the voice of the organ, in the silence of the pews, in the church's very name. Music in the sky, the pipe organ. At the heart of Hallgrímskirkja's music is its monumental pipe organ, crafted by Johannes Claes Orgelbau in Germany. It stands 15 meters tall and weighs 25 tons. With over 5,275 pipes, the organ has an incredible dynamic range, from whispering winds to thunderous roars. It was designed not just for worship, but for concert performance. And it makes full use of the church's acoustics, which were carefully calibrated to enhance choral and instrumental sound. The annual Reykjavík Arts Festival and numerous organ concerts bring musicians from around the world. When the organ plays, it's not merely heard. It is felt, reverberating through the concrete, through the bones, through the soul. The tower and the view. The observation deck at the top of Hallgrímskirkja offers one of the most stunning views in Iceland. Accessible via elevator, it attracts thousands of visitors annually. From here, you see Reykjavík in full, colorful rooftops, the old harbor, the glint of Faxaflói Bay, and on clear days, the distant Snæfellsjökull glacier. The view changes with the seasons, from midnight sun in summer to icy twilight in winter. It's not just a tourist attraction. It's a contemplative space. Looking out from the tower, you gain perspective on geography, on culture, and perhaps, on your own place in the world. Symbol of a nation. Hallgrímskirkja is more than a building. It is an emblem of Iceland. It appears on postcards, stamps, government brochures, and artworks. It hosts national celebrations, religious holidays, and civic concerts. It is the go-to backdrop for weddings and state visits. It is both sacred and civic, both personal and public. To many Icelanders, Hallgrímskirkja is not just a church. It is Reykjavík's beating heart. A constant presence in a country defined by nature's unpredictability. Light, night, and the sacred sky. Light plays a sacred role in Hallgrímskirkja. During long winter nights, it glows warmly, a beacon for the city. During summer, sunlight dances across its facade from early morning to late evening. Photographers flock here during the aurora borealis. The northern lights behind the tower turn the church into a silhouette against the heavens. On solstices, shadows cast long lines through the nave, creating moving patterns that feel like divine choreography. This church does not just occupy space. It interacts with the sky. It receives and reflects the Icelandic light in ever-changing ways. Preservation and future. Time and weather test all structures, and Hallgrímskirkja is no exception. Harsh winters, salt air, and tourism bring wear to its concrete bones. Ongoing preservation includes cleaning, restoring damaged surfaces, and reinforcing weakened sections. Sustainability is a growing concern. Solar panels, energy-efficient lighting, and improved insulation are part of modern upgrades. The mission is clear: preserve the vision of Guðjón Samúelsson while embracing the needs of a new century. Human stories. Within these walls are countless personal memories. A child baptized in the nave. A solo traveler who found solace in silent prayer. An elderly woman who attended services every Sunday for 50 years. These stories are quiet, but profound. They are not written in history books, but they are the heartbeat of the church. They are why Hallgrímskirkja is not just iconic, but beloved. It has stood witness to lives lived fully, joyfully, sorrowfully. That, perhaps, is its true miracle. A global icon. From architecture students in Tokyo to tourists from Brazil, Hallgrímskirkja has global admirers. It is studied in universities, featured in art, and visited by millions. Its unique design challenges traditional church architecture. Its symbolic depth invites reflection. Its cultural role anchors it firmly in Icelandic identity. This is a church that transcends religion. It invites everyone, believers, skeptics, artists, historians. It is Iceland's offering to the world. The skyward soul. Hallgrímskirkja doesn't just stand. It soars. Like a in stone. Like a prayer made of concrete. It reminds us that even in cold winds and long winters, the human spirit reaches up. Thank you for joining this journey. If this story inspired you, share it. Like it. Subscribe for more deep explorations of the world's soul-filled places. Until next time, may your path be skyward.